Good. Okay, good evening. We'll call the meeting to order. It'll be a short meeting tonight, so what's on the agenda? And first, I'm sitting, I got one of the low chairs. Someone took my chair, so it's around here somewhere. Anyway, we'll start with the land acknowledgement, and I think it was,
Hendrick did it last, so.
yes, I think it was.
Augusta Township acknowledges that we live and work on ancestral territories of Indigenous people. The township recognizes all Indigenous peoples and honors their past, present, and future. The township values and respects their culture, heritages, and relationship to the land.
Thank you, Councilor Henry. The only thing I have tonight in my remarks is basically to welcome the new OPP inspector, Inspector Lisa Nicholas of the Granville Detachment. So we met with her, I think a week and a half ago. So she is, one thing she did point out, she's a favor of doing ride programs. So you'll see more of them in the township, so, which is a good thing. So, all right. Next, we have the approval of the agenda. Moved by Councillor Bowman, seconded by Councillor Henry. Be resolved the agenda for February 12, 2024 be adopted. Does anybody have any additions or anything to add? Okay, I see nothing. I'll call the question. All in favor? Carried. Yep. I guess I got this backwards, don't I? Do it. Next, we have the approval of the previous minutes, moved by Councillor Henry, second by Councillor Bowman. Be it resolved that council approved the minutes of January 29th, 2024 council meeting as distributed to all members. So is there any changes, deletions, any corrections at all, councillors? Oh, I see nothing. I'll call the question. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Does anybody have any disclosure of pecuniary interest and general nature thereof? Okay, don't see any hands. Any business arising from the minutes? Again, I see nothing. Okay, delegations. We got one delegation tonight, and that's from the representative from the Optimist Club, and that's Mr. Larry Harper. Welcome, Larry.
Thank you.
So it's your show. Come on up where you can either use the podium or sit there or stand here.
Well, I can just stand here. My name's Larry Harper. I'm Lieutenant Governor for the Optimist Clubs of Central Ontario. And we just started a new club. We have a club in Spencerville, which some of you are already aware of. It's a very active community club where we go out and help children in the community. We work in the schools. We run reading programs, we run basketball clinics, sports events, track and field, and those kind of things. We built 10 new garden boxes in that community for the school, for the kids, and they had a really great harvest from it this year. And what they did is when they harvested, the kids that did not get fresh vegetables at home, the other kids washed them, cleaned them, and presented them during the lunch breaks. And it was really well accepted. What I'm interested in doing, we just started a new club, and we call it the Seaway Club, which is Iroquois, Cardinal, Johnstown, and Prescott. And it's to help with the kids in the community, because we all know the kids are lacking attention, and you know, it's hard to get them out from their basements doing computer games and stuff like that. So we offer all kinds of different programs for them. And the reason I'm here tonight is I just live down the road. I'm one house away from being in Augusta Township, okay? So I'm in the Stone Home past the horse farm on the left-hand side of the road, just before Kelly Road. My granddaughters and their mom live here in Maynard, and I've noticed a big influx of younger families coming to this area over the last few years. I've lived here for 30 years now. I was interested in seeing if you guys would look at the possibility of having an Optimist Club here in Maynard. I can go out and I can solicit by putting some mailings out and information at the schools and that to join, but to start one up. But I'm just interested in this, is it something the council would like to see, to get a community club here that can help? I heard you talking about basketballs and kayaks and everything else. Those are the kind of things we do in Optimus. We have programs where every quarter an Optimus club can get a donation of $3,000 for a child that has needs of a wheelchair or whatever. Every quarter we get that kind of money out. And so why don't you want it for your community is what I'm trying to say. I've helped at the school here with different track and field meets and that, and the kids could use a lot more attention, and it would be a great thing for you guys to take on and try to promote to see if there's interest in the community. I don't know the best way for your community to do it. I mean, I can just put out Facebook announcements that we're looking at it. I would even go and put in mailboxes all up and down the road to get the interest, because I'm a real believer in helping the children, and we desperately need it. All of our communities need it. So I'm hoping it's something that you, your group would support and talk to the people in the community about what benefits could come from it. I've got some brochures that I can leave here. I can leave my business card. Anybody wants to get a hold of me, I would be more than happy to talk to a group or even just individuals to start off with. Gananoque is also looking at starting a club, and so is Mauritown, because everybody's realizing our kids have missed out too long. Some of them are lost. They don't know what to do, and we don't want to see them getting in trouble out on the streets. It's better to try to give programs to them. So that's why I'm here today, to see if it's something you would promote. We've had some of your people at different events that we've done in Spencerville in the past. And one of the other things we're doing that would be very interesting, because it would help your community, on October the 10th, 2024, we're running $1 million fundraiser for mental health for children at Shield. And all the Optimus clubs in Central Ontario are part of that. And so if Maynard were to start a club up, they would also be part of that, and it would get your community recognized. So it's an opportunity not only for the children, but it's an opportunity for our community out here to get better recognized out there. So with that, any questions?
Councillors?
Well, just, not really a question, a comment. I was at your banquet last year and it was well attended, and it was run, very well run. And kudos to you, because you put a lot of work into that.
Thank you. We're having another one on May the 11th this year. And what we do is, just on that point, is all the kids put all the meal on, serve it, and you were there, and they all got recognized up on the stage, and that meant a lot to those kids. But the other thing is they all got their volunteer hours that they needed to be able to graduate. And I know that someone from this group here has asked Brandy Donovan about doing a spaghetti dinner, putting a spaghetti dinner together, and that their Optimus Club would be the ones that would be doing that if it does come to fruition. So, thank you. Okay.
Councillors, any other? No? I got a couple. I'm just waiting. Well, I noticed on your web. What?
I was just gonna say, before the pandemic, Councillor Henry and I had a youth advisory committee. How many kids did we have?
10 to 15?
Yeah, 10 to 15. So it was really well, we just got together and we did some crafts, and we put a float in the Prescott Parade, and yeah, so it's something that I'm sure would be of an interest around here.
Yeah, and I've talked to some of the teachers at the school too, when I've been picking my granddaughter up.
Yeah.
And they said it would really be helpful for them to get the kids more involved in things. So I would love to have you look at considering starting.
We even had Michael Barrett come one night and he talked to the kids about, how he got into politics and, stuff like that. So it was really.
There are junior Optimist groups too, and South Grenville is going to be starting a club up there. And those kids get to start their own club. They only get direction from the adults. The adults don't tell them what to do. They have their own president, vice president, the whole thing, just like political, understanding politics a little bit better. And for the last 5 years, The president from Optimus International for Junior Optimus International has been a Canadian, and and they get to travel all over the world, wherever there's Junior Optimus programs, and is paid for. We have a oratorical and essay competition coming up over the next couple of months. And the young boy was from Kingston because we didn't have anybody in Spencerville to put their name forward. He won $2,500 last year. If he had gone on to the next 2 levels, he could have won 25,000 US in a scholarship. So it's a good program out there. I really believe in it. That's why I push and talk as much as I can to everybody about it. So.
Okay, I have to wait till they ask questions in order for me to ask questions. Thanks, Larry. I know the this club does a lot of good. I've seen it through the years and stuff like that. So my question was, I went on your website, there's nobody in Brockville.
No, and that's not one we're looking at. To be honest, I'm looking at a very unique thing in Brockville. All of our communities are becoming more and more multicultural. Okay, and when I traveled for the last 40 years internationally to 98 different countries. And every time I went into a country, I was the outsider like the people that come to our community are. And so I understand really their feeling is they would like to be part of our community, but they're not quite accepted because some people look down on them because they've come and taken jobs away and they've started businesses that have been successful when nobody else could do it. But it's because they're hard workers. Most people from around the world want to give back to community. And so what we're doing right now, I'm looking at 2 groups because the lady's coming from India to our meeting next 2 weeks from now on Wednesday, 28th in Spencerville. She's coming to our meeting, and a lady from the Philippines because there are multicultural groups in Brockville and your area and Prescott all over that they can contribute to our community. And they want to contribute, but everybody thinks of them as being a burden because we don't allow them to contribute because we sort of push them away and they feel like they have to stay in their own little culture. And that's an area that I'm pushing. So I am looking at Brockville. Brockville had one a long time ago. And like all clubs, Jeff, more and more clubs are closing down. Kinsman, Kiwanis, all of that.
And they're all doing good things, but they're all in competition with each other.
Yeah, and reality is that it was a lot of older people that were in it and they just got burnout maybe or tired. COVID came and it gave a way to stop it and they just don't go back to it. Yeah. And so I'm out there trying to rejuvenate the clubs and not just our club too. I speak highly of those other clubs too because we need them all in our community.
Exactly.
Okay.
Each of them have their own forte, you might
Yep,
say, you know. You mentioned the Seaway one.
Yeah.
We consider ourselves part of the Seaway. We're
Yes, you do.
15 kilometers.
And so would
So-
Spencerville, consider that. I went to Spencerville and talked about, because I came into this room before Christmas, right? To ask about the rink, because we're looking at building nowhere near the rink that you guys are doing, right? Because we're funding it. And so we're putting a pad out where there could be outdoor ice, but we're now focusing more towards the other seasons. But I came in here to ask information about that rink. And the lady first said, why isn't there an Optimus Club in Maynard? And so I went back to our members and I said, you know what, now I started one in Spence and Seaway, and it's just down the road. But guess what? Spencerville is called Spencerville and District. We really focus in Spencerville. Just like you guys would focus on your school and your kids. That's only a given.
Mhm.
And so Prescott and Johnstown Cardinal were left out. Here's left out. And so it's not going to affect what we can do because we're all clubs that will work together. Nothing's saying we couldn't have a group of 4 Optimus clubs all doing the same project, guys.
Yeah.
And doing it for the communities, and that's what it's about.
Okay.
So when I told Spencerville, I was, what the heck are you doing trying to start one in Maynard? Why don't they just come and join us? And I said, you know what? Because they're their own community too, just like you're your community in Spencerville. I'm not from Spencerville, I'm from,
No, we have 5 different communities.
yeah, we really do.
Roebuck, Donville, North Augusta.
Yeah, we do.
Moncton, you know.
And there's no reason why any one of them couldn't start their own club, but do projects together.
Yeah,
And that's what we really need. We need community. We don't only need it in fundraising, in community events and fundraising. We need it in bringing new business to our community too. That's something him and I are gonna talk about because I really believe in that. We have too good a community out there, and we have so much talent that isn't being utilized right now because the jobs aren't here, the factories are gone, and people can really, we could supply very excellent talent here. We just have to work more together as a group instead of individual communities. So I believe, maybe I'm wrong,
No,
but I think.
no, we find that, we work very close, we partner with Prescott and Edwardsburg Cardinal on a lot of things, so. You have to do that moving forward.
Yeah.
Or else you're not gonna get anywhere.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't believe that, before my time didn't, but
No, I know.
this council does, and
And that's what's good, because that's what's gonna bring it here. Trying to do it on your own, you may not have all the land you need, or you might not have the infrastructure you need, but together you can do that.
exactly, yeah.
I was in, I spent a lot of time in China, and I was in cities that will hold 1 million people that are completely ready. All they have to do is turn the key on. All the infrastructure is already there, all the hydros there, everything, the hotels, apartment buildings, everything. And that's real, because I thought it was a joke, but I got to go and see it. And that's thinking outside of the box. If you build it, they will come,
Hey, that sounds familiar.
right? So,
That's what I say that all the time, these guys are always laughing at me. I'm a firm believer in that.
yeah. I spoke a lot more than just optimists, and sorry for taking.
Oh, no, it's good to hear.
I'm
Any final
here,
questions,
and just down
anybody?
the road.
All right, well, thank you very much, Larry.
Okay,
Thank you.
Yeah.
okay, thank you.
I'll reach out to you later.
Yeah, okay. Can I leave some pamphlets at your desk
Yeah.
there? Yep. And some cards, just on the camera? Just give me that, I'll take them. I can leave some of my cards too. And if you get any parents in the area that are interested, send them my way. Okay, super, thanks a lot. Thank you, guys.
Okay, thanks, Larry.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Larry.
Okay, moving on, correspondence and petitions, we don't have anything, I take it, no? So we'll move on to reports. First of all, county's council. We had a joint services meeting, mostly about budget, and we had committee of the whole meeting, mostly about budget. So I'm hoping the next council meeting we have, which is, I think, 2 weeks away, we'll pass the budget there. It's gonna be similar to next year for sure, similar to last year for sure. And we also talked about, I think I told some of you, we had the discussion about the area agriculture review. And the consultant got up and said her piece, and it kind of disturbed a lot of the mayors. I think the opening words were 96% of your residents are very happy. So there's nothing like setting a tone, and that was the tone. Because not one mayor believed it in the room. Anyway, so more to follow on that. So it's gonna be a while, probably till, I would say, the fall period before they do anything. Okay, so reports, Deputy Mayor Winans, the Conservation Authorities, please.
Yeah, we haven't had a meeting since last. I got a meeting this Thursday with South Basin, and then in 2 weeks with Rideau Valley. So we have next council meeting.
Okay. Recreation, anybody? Councilor Henry?
Your worship, we have an AGM meeting for Maynard this Thursday at 6 o'clock at the township office.
Okay. The Economic Development Committee meeting you had, you were absent, right? Or
No,
here?
I was here,
You were here? I can't remember.
but Council Bowman had recreation stuff.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Get missed and I don't.
Sorry.
I don't really have an update other than, Merck Snowfest is February 24th from 9 to 12. $25 for a family of 4, $8 per person. And the lending library will be there with skis and snowshoes and all this stuff.
I just had a question about, why don't they do that in Family Day? 19.
I don't know that they had enough people available.
Oh, okay, yeah, it could be, some
Alright.
people work.
And yeah, I don't think they had enough
Yeah.
people available for that at that time.
Okay,
So
good.
that's all I have.
Did you, anyone else?
Well, North Augusta, we didn't get the extension for the grant, So therefore, changing plans. I was unable to attend the last meeting, but Shannon went. I don't know if you want to fill anything on North Augusta?
I can do that under my admin update if you want.
Okay.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Council Payne.
We had just requested a meeting with, the Roebuck group. Did we ever hear anything back? I never saw a response come back.
No, Kathleen's following up with them again,
Okay.
just to try and see if we can get a date set.
Yeah, we're trying to get a meeting scheduled, but aside from that, nothing.
All right, anybody else? No? Okay, library board,
Nothing to report.
economic development,
Through your worship, an update on the first impressions. They've created a subcommittee at our last meeting, which would be Judy, Rob, and Pamela that's gonna sit on it. And they've agreed to go with the full community survey. The mayor's breakfast is now up, so you can register. It's March 22nd, roll back at 7:30 in the morning. Rob, the chair of our committee, is developing a retail marketing plan for the pop-ups. And Maker's Map, they had 6 attended the pilot program session. They will be doing another meeting on February 22nd with a soft launch session at 6:30 PM at Merck.
and just to clarify, the 6 that attended, they were invited. No one else was, so, in case you think the numbers are low, and they did a pilot using those 6 people just to get their input, so. Good. Where am I? PAC committee, planning.
Okay, at our planning committee, we had a full agenda. We re-looked at 2 severances from the meeting before, and there were a few things were straightened out in that, and that was passed. And then we looked at 2 more severances, and both these severances are coming about because of the ag review. So, and like, there may be a few more coming yet. And then we looked at planning committee, we suggested maybe that we start looking at the official plan. So, start doing some work on that.
Anything else? Any questions? No? Okay, on to administration, CAO.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a few things. So just a confirmation that our budget meeting is set for February 21st, which is a week from this Wednesday. We were expecting to have the binders to you tonight, but we'll need probably a few more days. So our hope is to get them to you by midweek, which will give you a full week to review them. So we finally went through the numbers today and we're at, I think, a good rate that we'd like to present to council. So stay tuned for that. Just a follow up to the Deputy Winans, he indicated about the CCRF extension. So I reported last time that no extension was given on the outdoor rink. They have granted us the extension to for the community hall. So we're just tomorrow we'll be meeting with a bunch of contractors and setting timelines to get the work completed by March 31st of this year. So there'll be pretty much a overhaul of the entire inside and out of the building. So certainly not what we wanted to, but I think it's certainly a good thing for North Augusta to get at least a facelift on that building. And I think it'll allow a lot more opportunities for further rentals and all that stuff like that. So we can't start any of the work until the amended agreement has been signed off by the feds, but hopefully that will be done this week. So, and then just council's information is we have gone ahead with the insurance renewal for 2024 and 2025. I am looking at having our insurance provider come to council the next meeting to do an overview of our policy. But we're looking at a 6.8% increase for our insurance renewal, which is actually low in comparison to other municipalities around us. So insurance is going up, but he'll touch a little bit more on what the reasons behind all the insurance increases and stuff are going, which is out of our control. But we'll look at bringing that forward at the next meeting to council. That's everything there.
Okay. Meg, Chief Bowman.
Yeah, thank you, Your Worship. I asked for a quick municipal emergency control group meeting last Thursday night. Hans, as we know, has retired, moved on, so I'm taking the reins here. And one of the things we talked about a lot was the solar eclipse that's coming up on April 8th. And, at first I was, solar eclipse, really what do we have to do? But I've been to a few meetings and we, you have that? Right?
You ready?
Yep.
stick in there.
Just, so I presented a quick PowerPoint to the MAC last Thursday on what's going on in the area, what Emergency Measures Ontario wants or is saying, and some other things. Just waiting on technology.
Hopefully that will be fixed in a few days.
Anyway, I'll start. So basically, I attended a meeting in Gananoque. It was a meeting that included agencies such as the Coast Guard, RCMP, OPP, Brockville Police, Kingston Police, people from Kingston Hospitals, Brockville Hospitals, Lathrville EMS, Frontenac EMS, you name it, to talk about, and many fire services to talk about the eclipse. So the eclipse is happening on April 8th, and the last eclipse that they had in Ontario was 1925, and the last one in North America was 2017. And again, I was, really, eclipse, what are we preparing for? So in 2017, when they had the eclipse in the United States, the state of Oregon basically got inundated with millions of people wanting to get their pictures taken with the mountains and, whatever. And this happened throughout the United States, where this small, what they call path of totality. So go ahead, Greg. Go ahead, one more. So the path of totality is a thin band in Ontario that many municipalities will be in, and that just means you're in the total eclipse area. Go ahead. And so that's the path we're going to see on April 8th through North America and Canada. Go ahead. And for our area, I circled where Augusta Township is. So we're in the path of totality, and for, I think, in one of the next slides, if you go ahead. This was the one in 2017, and went across the US, and again. And this is just one of the areas in Oregon, okay? And that you'll see there's lots of tourists, again. So a huge influx of people. They were estimating 7.4 million people went to Oregon. And it was the largest audience for an outdoor recorded event. Go ahead. So in Augusta, again, I'm trying to skip through this really quickly because I know Jeff loves my long presentations. Mr. Mayor. So the eclipse here is going to start at about just after 2 o'clock and end about 4:30. And in between there's going to be a 2-minute and 41-second time where the sun's totally blank up on the moon. Okay. So again, emergency management of Ontario has been sending out emails for, it seems like the last 2 years. They talked about organizing events, people stopping alongside the roads, people trespassing on agricultural fields, dangers to people's eyesight, cell phone coverage. One of the things that happened in the States was cell phone coverage became very spotty at best because of the amount of people in one area. So that's one of the areas. And what I think we have the biggest concern with here is cell phone, but number one is traffic congestion. Go ahead. So what are others doing in our area? So again, in Gananoque, believe it or not, almost all their hotels are 100% booked. Same goes with the city of Kingston for 3 days, the 7th, 8th, and 9th. Brockville is, Tourism Brockville is planning a watch party on Blockhouse Island. They expect close to 10,000 people. Prescott is planning an event, and I'm not sure what they expect, but they're planning an event as well. Okay. So again, this was the meeting I attended, and some municipalities are even actually activating their max for that day. Some federal, provincial departments are saying work from home for their employees. School boards, as we all know, have moved their PA days. And some municipalities are purchasing eclipse glasses for their staff. Some are buying them for their residents. Okay. So what's Augusta's risk? So where might people go in Augusta? I've looked, we've got the Maiden Lookout, we've got the dive site, we've got the Canada Road 2 between the dive site and Prescott, and they pull over on the side of the road and they may go to other municipalities. And of course, we've got possible problems with private property and trespassing with agricultural fields, and maybe in Vistas, they've got a large area along the river. Some of our risk for our staff and residents is, of course, viewing. Right, this doesn't happen all the time, so they're taking a look at it, and traffic congestion. And what we're worried about with traffic congestion is, for us, in particular for fire, is our firefighters being able to get to the station, right? And then being able to respond to trucks, and then is that congestion going to cause accidents? And then cell phone coverage. We all live and die by our cell phones, and if we start getting spotty cell phone coverage, the other thing it could cause is, and this happened in 2017, you call 911 because the towers are busy and they're blacked out. If you're near the river, your 911 call now gets routed to the States. The States picks it up and now they have to get it back. It turns into not a very easy situation for emergency services. So, one of my, I talked to the MEC, and what we're planning is I have purchased 120 pairs of glasses for our staff. And they are very inexpensive. I believe they were $2 a piece for about $240. We're going to do a social media blitz on the website, Augusta Quarterly, on about eclipse safety, traffic congestion. I can tell that EMS in Leeds and Grenville and OPP are staffing up and bringing in more vehicles for that day. And I am going to be staffing up our fire stations with hopefully 6 firefighters each, simply because of response time. And, cost-wise, it'll cost for wages and for food approximately $3,000 to do that. Cell phone coverage, again, Augusta Fire, a lot of our firefighters use their phones to get paid, so they also have pagers. So we're going through the process right now, making sure everybody's pagers are working, and everybody has one. So that's basically the eclipse in a nutshell. Like I said, originally when the eclipse first started, I started hearing about 2 years ago. I rolled my eyes like everybody else, but the more I hear, the more that I believe congestion may be an issue, right? I know one last thing I'll end with is one of the things they talked about at length at this meeting I was at was the St. Lawrence Seaway and the Thousand Islands. They expect, I'm going to guess hundreds of boats, if not thousands. The Coast Guard is going to have a large boat out there with capable of dispersing other smaller boats to go out and help them. OPP are going to have, it was either 3 or 4 boats on the water. RCMP are going to have 3 or 4 boats on the water. This is all in between Kingston and Cardinal. So I don't think what I'm planning is an overkill. You know what? If nothing happens, well, we were prepared. But if something was to happen and, we couldn't get to a house fire or, something like that in time, just manning up our stations, and most fire departments are planning to do that. Not all of them, but most of them in the area are. I'll just take any questions.
No questions, Andy?
No, sounds like you got things covered. Just have one question, Rob. Did South Asian contact you they've got a emergency flood control meeting coming up?
They do, and I did reply back. I will be attending.
I think on that day, my own personal opinion is the worst place to be is on the 401, because people will be pulling over like crazy. And that's why I think the fire station, probably one of them, will be called out on the 401, as I'm sure all the towns and cities along the 401 will be called. It only takes one accident, and people get excited and forget about the time of day and what's happening, and they'll all be pulling over. Or crazy ones keep driving and trying to.
If I may, Your Worship,
Yeah.
so what they really expect, Niagara Falls really expects to get hammered. Like, they expect to get the majority of people there. Worst case scenario for us here is if it's forecast to be cloudy in Niagara Falls and not here. That's our worst case scenario, right? And then people obviously aren't going to see it, and they're going to go someplace where they can.
Okay, yes, go ahead, Councilor.
Your worship, is there issues with, I know the school board's changed the day to try to keep students in their houses, but the other municipalities are planning outdoor events? Is that, they are concerned about that?
As through Your Worship, it's actually quite common for municipalities to have outdoor events for this, like viewing parties, because it's, they had them all over the United States last time, like all over, I don't know whether, like I said, we're going to, on social media, plan to try to educate our residents that, don't look up at it without, safety special glasses, and literally they're the cardboard glasses that we used to wear in the movies, 3D movies. They simply look like that, and they're really inexpensive. Like I said, we bought 120 for our staff, because I'm just thinking our staff, may have to be outside if, you know, whatever, just for safety's sake, so. You know, as far as liability, could there be some? I don't know, like I said, I know it's quite common to.
When's it, that time of day, the staff is gonna go outside and look at it, for sure, because I would, you know, I'm sure they will, so. We must keep them safe, and then it's like everything else, if they don't tell everybody aliens are coming, they're on their rooftops having a party, say, yeah. Come down. That's true, that's what they do, they create parties. So where's the party that day?
Yes, he's close to the water.
That's what it is.
So this is fun to look up so you can't see them. Stupid. You can't pick stupid.
Someone's making money off it.
So hopefully it ends up being nothing, and you know what, we, you know, at least, you know, we didn't overreact quite as much as some municipalities, I can just tell you, but.
Well, not there yet, so. All right, thank you. And we'll move on. All right. Report 2024-015, moved by Councilor Bowman, second by Councilor Henry, be resolved that council received this report for information purposes. And it's the report on the remuneration and expenses for council. Anybody have any questions on that? Okay, nobody wants to raise, so that's good. I'll call the question, all in favor?
Didn't say that.
It's report 2024-016, moved by Councilor Henry, second by Councilor Bowen, be resolved that council direct staff to renew the River Route Transit Partnership Agreement for the period of April 1st, 2024 to March 31st, 2025, and that council authorize staff to explore funding options that could support the purchase of a new bus and shelters for the program, and to report back to council at a future date. Okay, any questions? CAL, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Just one question on that, Your Honor. Do we have any input on where that route goes, like where it stops? Like if we could get some new business coming in, would we have input to say, could you change your route and swing by this area?
Well, my understanding, the way it was set up, yes, we do, provided it doesn't change every week. It's consistent, yeah, and we're paying a third of it, so, definitely, yeah, we have some say.
And I see, according to the report, the numbers look good.
Yeah.
Like it costs 29%.
And I think they'll probably go up more too, so
Yeah.
hopefully. Any comments? Yeah.
No, I think the only thing I will say is certainly the ridership has gone up, and you see, you know, I have this spreadsheet here and you can see where there's certain months where it really spikes up quite a bit. So like from September on, September to December, it really grows as far as total rides. So, you know, you're looking at 605 rides for the month of September, 660 for October, 610 for November, 517 for December, and then it kind of in January, it slows off to about half of that. I did try and get from Matthew in Prescott, just for council's information, it was the out of the total rides is how many were actually from Augusta as far as stops versus Prescott and Edwardsburg Cardinal. So certainly if that's something that council wants before they make a decision, I can certainly defer this till the next meeting and get that information for you, just so council has it, or council can certainly choose tonight to go ahead and pass it, whatever. We've got till March 31st is the deadline, so certainly I'll leave that up to council.
For me, I would like to have those numbers, because when you look at the 2022 numbers, our ridership was only 9%. And one was 50% and one was 40%. So I'd like to see what our numbers are going up, and I think maybe we need to look and see what, you know.
Yep.
Your worship, I agree with Councillor Bowman on that. You know, as I've said last year, and I'll say again this year, I'm very pro-transit. I think it's an important thing to have. I still do believe that it's not serving the communities, I should say communities, to the best of its ability. I'm really happy to see that ridership has gone up. And that's, I mean, once people kind of know there's transit available to them, I think that's the natural progression. I know it's just, coming from my own soon-to-be 16-year-old who says that, hey, he's out there looking for work and would love to get a job in Brockville that he can take the transit to. And right now, that's not an option because the last run of the day is basically when he'd be getting ready to go to work. And so it would get him there, but not back. So there's a lot of things that I'd kind of like to see that it seems that we're kind of slowly getting there. But I think first and foremost, before we make any decisions from our part, is we need to see how it's serving our community.
Is there a staff member who sits on that, or is it just you?
I'm just looking at the agreement again. So the chair of the advisory committee is the CAO of Prescott. They're the ones that actually act as the lead on it. They are supposed to be meeting quarterly. But I'm just seeing who sits on the committee. It does say the CAO, so I believe it's the 3 CAOs. But there's also supposed to be a couple other members on there as well too, so.
Yeah, because at one time, Mr. Thaig sat on it.
So maybe the
Public Works Managers.
Yeah.
I
Like I
was
said,
gonna say that.
Yeah, like I reached out to Matthew Midneck last week just to find out the numbers. Because I've got the numbers that he provided as far as, the costing and all that stuff. I don't have the cost of, okay, well, how many were from Augusta, how many, because I think that was to Councillor Bowman's, in the 2022 report, did talk about at each stop, the percentage and stuff like that, so. Certainly, I don't disagree that, at least understanding those numbers before you make a decision for sure.
I was just gonna add, I mean, I know it's supposed to be a joint venture, and we have some tough budget decisions to make, and, we're always looking for savings. Again, as I said, currently it's a 3-way split, and right now, as according to the 22 numbers, we're only at 9% of usage from, our area. I'm saying that we should defer it till we get the 2023 numbers, and then I think we need to talk about how we should move forward with it.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes we've got to look at it as cooperation between the 3 municipalities, and we've got to look what's the greater good for the whole area and not maybe just Augusta. And we're in the middle, so definitely our ridership is going to be lower than the other ends. So it's just the way it is, but I think it is overall a great program.
We got some future things going on too, so it might affect the ridership a lot too, so who knows? All right, so I get the feeling you want to defer it to next meeting? So when everybody's, okay, so we'll defer, can we do it on that? So I'll call the question to defer to next meeting, all in favor? Carried. So next we have the report 2024-017, moved by Councillor Bowman, second by Councillor Henry. Be resolved that a purchase and sale agreement be executed by the mayor and clerk of Corey James Arcan and James Francis Arcan for the purpose of purchasing land described as south parcel 20 acres, part lot 5, concession 1 Augusta, and north parcel 57 acres, part lot 5, concession 1 Augusta, for a total of 77 acres. And the council authorized the CAO to proceed with the due diligence to be undertaken by Cambium Incorporated and Pass Recover Archaeological Services Incorporated, which is conditional to the purchase. So, questions, council? We've had enough meetings in the past to, anyway, this is the agreement here, so, no questions? I'll call a question, all in favor? Carried. Thank you. I just want to say, I want to thank council for passing that, because, we're up here. I think you all saw the vision I saw, is what I'm saying, and we gotta do something with the township, and I think it's a win-win situation. I'll say that right to the last minute I'm in this seat. and beyond. So, it's just how we maneuver around and get things going on it. So anyway, thank you very much for that, your support on that. Moved by Councillor Henry, second by Councillor Bowman, be resolved that council received the building department activity report for January 2024 for information. So, sorry. Any questions, Councillor? Yeah, Karen in the room tonight, so we can do all sorts of questions. So if we go to page, I guess I'm jumping, am I? Yeah. Anyway, building permits. Okay, so no questions, all in favor? Carried. For 2024-014. And moved by Councillor Bowman, second by Councillor Henry. Be it resolved the council direct staff to provide the required 21 days notice to increase building fees as outlined in this report and to schedule the required public meeting on March 11th, 2024. So, questions? Go ahead, Deputy Mayor.
Not really a question, more a comment. This should have been done quite a while ago, because the mushroom plant only paid a $750 fee, permit fee for a $68 million building.
Yeah.
So if we kept this, that's all that, if the greenhouses go ahead, that they would pay. So it's past due, that this should be done for that size of operation, and this still won't hurt the smaller farms that want to just build a loading barn or a barn.
Any other questions? The fact that nothing's happened in this township for the last 20 or 30 years, that this big, just kind of caught everybody off guard, you know. I know staff checked all the boxes, we tried in our heads to check all the boxes too, but things slipped by, but really catching it now, you know, and report here, like, when you look at the building permits, the revenues and expenses, you know, we lost money. So, you know, hopefully next year that'll change, you know, we'll start to see the climb, so it's, again, Karen, do you want to say anything?
Just as you mentioned, it's past due, and I'm glad we're finally going to catch up a little bit on this and at least break even and not have a deficit.
And it's just not only building permits, if you read through it, it's the extra stuff Karen is asked to do too. And that comes an expense to the township. And we're just, although we keep track of it, it adds up. And as you can see, the table there is, we don't want to lose money on them again. No. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I think something else that we probably have to look at, and that is our power plant fees. When I got on council 10 years ago, it was $500. It's still $500. You can't do anything with $500 nowadays. So.
Yeah.
Through new mayor to Deputy Mayor Wynn. So we are looking at all of our fees and charges right now. So hopefully we'll bring that back in March for council to review. But certainly it's one of those things as we're going through budget right now is not that we want to have a user fee for everything, but we need to start trying to capture the cost for a certain specific activity and putting it all on the ratepayers, right? So we're looking at different options, similar to other municipalities of how we can capture that. So that'll be coming back in a future meeting.
And we got, correct me if I'm wrong, we got consultants looking at development charges?
That's correct too. Yes,
Okay,
that was
so-
undertaken, I think early 2023 before my time, but certainly that's a development charge review that's being done and then it'll be presented to council at a later date, so.
Yeah, as we started looking at residential and everything else, it's all got to be, the infrastructure is all got to be different, so. Any other questions? I got a good report, Karen. I'll call the question, all in favor? Carry. Yep. Next we have Counselor, moved by Counselor Pape, seconded by Deputy Mayor Winans, be resolved the bylaw number 3683-2024 being a bylaw to appoint a rental property standards officer for the Township of Augusta be read a first time, second time, and a third time, and be enacted as read. Any questions? I think everybody's met. Yeah, you was here last time. Yeah, good. Gonna call a question, all in favor? Carried. Moved by Deputy Mayor Wyans, seconded by Councillor Pape, be resolved the bylaw number 3684-2024 being a bylaw to authorize temporary borrowing from time to time to meet current expenditures during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2024, be read a first time, second time, and a third time, and be enacted as read. So this happens yearly, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Or just again.
Your worship, it's just a procedural bylaw that you passed before you set your final tax rate for 2024, in case you need to borrow money.
Good. Any other questions, Councilor? No? I'll call the question, all in favor? Carried. Thank you. Moved by Councillor Pape, seconded by Deputy Mayor Winans, be resolved that bylaw number 3685-2024 being a bylaw to authorize an interim levy in advance of the adoption and the estimates for 2024 be read a first time, second time, and a third time be enacted as read. Questions, Councillor? All in favor? Carried. Moved by Deputy Mayor Wyden, seconded by Councillor Pape, be resolved that bylaw number 3686-2024, being a bylaw to enter into agreement for the purchase of land, be read a first time, second time, a third time, and be enacted as read. Any questions? All in favor? Carried. Yeah. Yes, I'm skipping. I didn't skip. I skipped notice of motions. I knew I skipped something. Was there any notice of motions? And before I forget, Deputy Mayor, I made note of what Mr. Harper said when his fundraiser is May 11th. I'm in Toronto that weekend. So before anybody says anything, I'm in Toronto that weekend.
Does that mean you want me to cover for you again?
Well, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. But anyway. So you know there's nothing behind that.
You pay the ticket, I'll go. How's that?
Okay, where are we? I guess I did those. I'm at announcements, aren't I? Anybody got any announcements?
I'll just mention again, our bank was coming up March 8th, but I would like to thank Vicky because she put the notice on our township website. Thank you, Vicky.
Anybody else? Oh, sorry, Chief.
Yeah, I'd just like to announce, last year, our fire services in Leeds and Grenville did a food drive, and it was very successful. We all teamed together as all the departments, and we're planning to do it again this year. It's gonna be for the entire month of March. We're gonna have one big event for the 3 South Grenville departments, Prescott, Augusta, and Edwardsburg Cardinal. And it's gonna be March 16th at O'Reilly's and Giant Tiger in Prescott. Because we all know, food drives really go during Christmas, but people that, need food and nourishment, they need it year round, so they always need food. So we did this last year, it was very successful, and we're hoping to be again this year. We'll be accepting food at Station 1 in Maitland every day, anytime anybody wants to drop it off. So
that's March.
March 16th will be at O'Reilly's and Giant Tiger.
Yep.
Your worship, just a note on the bylaw for the interim taxes. This year, March 29th, the Friday is Good Friday, so the interim tax due date is Thursday, March 28th. And as per bylaw, it's the last working day of March, so just so people are aware of that.
Yeah, we did that one year before, and we kind of called a grace for that one
Well,
day.
Interest doesn't get added
Yeah.
until the end of the month, but we don't tell people that.
No, okay. We just did.
It's due March 28th.
March
Due March 28th. All right. Sunday, March 3rd, Limerick Forest Open House at the Interpretive Center. I think it's from 10 to 3. So they have sleigh rides, you know, walk the trails and some of the campfires for the kids. And they cook hot dogs. So that's on March the 3rd at the Limerick Interpretive Center.
10-3.
Yeah.
I meant to mention something better too.
Okay. Okay, no other announcements? Yep.
Your worship, not really an announcement, but I guess a reminder, in light of the, what's looking to be tragic events that happened just west of here last night, with the individual that went through the ice at Charleston Lake. You know, I do want to stress again that right now, especially with the winter that we've had this year, no ice is safe ice. You know, please think of the emergency services if you're outside, because the individuals that got themselves into trouble last night also caused injuries to the fire service that went out to rescue them. You're putting more than yourself at risk, and we want to keep our first responders safe as much as we can, and you know, they'll respond, but we want to make sure that they get home safely as well. So, you know, for the foreseeable future, likely the rest of this winter, assume that the ice is not going to be safe and maybe stay on shore.
No, good point. Okay, any questions on the agenda from the press? I don't think we have anybody on. Questions on the agenda from the public? Lori, anything? Thank you for coming. Closed session, we have no closed session. So carry on with the bylaw. Moved by Councillor Pape, seconded by Deputy Mayor Winans, be resolved the bylaw number 3687-2024, confirming the proceedings of Council of the Township of Augusta at its meeting held on February 12, 24. Be read first time, second time, third time, and be enacted as read. All in favor? Carried, thank you. I didn't number my sheet. That's why I was stuck. I pay attention there. All right, moved by Deputy Mayor Winans, seconded by Councillor Pape, be resolved the council do now adjourn at 7 o'clock. Until February 21st, 2024 at 2:30 PM, or to call the mayor subject to need. All in favor? Carried, thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Here's the trade trust.
Budget, at the budget.
Oh, the budget.
Yes. It's an open meeting, yeah.